We all love a good what-if scenario, a dream team in Formula 1. Which drivers, which chassis, which engine, which team principle would you put to make the best possible Formula 1 team? And Zak Brown has been fielding some interesting questions when it comes to that kind of topic. Obviously, the McLaren CEO. So let's have a look at who his dream team is, specifically for a potential return to Le Mans for McLaren one day. Let's have a look at what he said here on the F1Chronicle.com, as always, guys. McLaren CEO Zak Brown says he would have found it hard to choose between Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz if he had a vacancy at the Woking-based team. Sainz was actually at McLaren when Ferrari wooed him and signed him up for 2021. The Spaniard shone in red but has been shuffled down the grid in 2025 after Ferrari decided to replace him with 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. If we had a free spot, of course we would consider Carlos again, Brown told Marca in Madrid. But right now we have Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri under contract for several years. But if for some reason the situation changes and Carlos is available, I have his phone number in my address book. Meanwhile, at Ferrari, Hamilton is now notably struggling to keep up with Charles Leclerc in a way that Sainz rarely did. So when asked if he would do the same, oust Sainz to sign a driver as famous and successful as 40-year-old Hamilton, Brown was careful with the answer. It's not as simple as that, said the American. There are a lot of surrounding dynamics that play into it. Lewis is a 7-time champion, and there aren't many times when you get to have a sportsman like that on your team. But at the same time, Carlos was incredible with us, a good friend, a great driver. Luckily, I wasn't in a position to have to make that decision. What Brown doesn't hesitate about is whether he would consider signing up former McLaren driver Fernando Alonso to spearhead McLaren's new WEC and Le Mans foray for 2027. Fernando is one of the best, he said. I know because he worked for us. He's an incredible athlete, and although his days in Formula 1 will soon be over, we have already announced that we will return to Le Mans, a race that he has already won, and I would love to see him back in a McLaren. Indeed, Alonso, I think, did win Le Mans for Toyota, I want to say. Good few years ago now, but it was in his little gap between leaving McLaren and rejoining the sport with Alpine. Brown also admitted he is keen to get the first on-track clash between teammates rivals. Brown also admitted he is keen to get the first on-track clash between teammates and title rivals Piastri and Norris out of the way. I don't think it's going to be as exciting as everybody thinks, and I think we will just have a racing incident, he said. I think it's inevitable, but neither of them is a hothead, so it doesn't worry us to a certain extent. We're eager to get this over with. In fact, of course, Piastri has been labelled as the new Iceman in Formula 1, the Ice Boy. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an interesting one. I always love these hypothetical kind of scenarios and stuff. And look, for me, McLaren's in a great place. They've got two relatively young drivers, two drivers that are race winners, two drivers that can challenge for the World Championship. They've won 2 now in the championship, I believe, still. I know Piastri's top, obviously. So, yeah, they're in a good position. They don't need to go changing the drivers. You never know, you know, one of them might leave for whatever reason. You can't predict these things, but they are under contract for a good few years now. But those contracts, of course, some people say they're not even worth the paper that they're written on in terms of the security they afford teams and drivers. They can just get rid of them when they want to. As long as the money's there to do, you know, a transfer, it'll be done. So, yeah. But who would you rather have in your team right now, Sainz or Hamilton? Well, if you're thinking about long term, thinking about the next 5 years, you've got to go with Sainz for me, because 5 years time Hamilton's going to be 45, and I think that Sainz is a driver who is a bit more adaptable. He's changed teams so much. He's been at McLaren a lot more recently than Hamilton. Of course, Hamilton left at the end of 2012, Sainz left at the end of 2020. So personally, if I was McLaren and I was going to have to replace either Lando or Piastri, I'd probably go with Sainz personally. He'd also come a lot cheaper as well. Although, you know, Hamilton's got that marketing benefit. So there is that. But personally, gun to my head, I would say Sainz. I don't think it's really close, to be honest. If you're asking me who's the better driver right now, that's a different discussion. I'm not going to get into that. But in terms of who I would personally pick if I was a team principal right now, of everything considered, I would probably go with Carlos Sainz. But your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Sainz or Hamilton? Who would be better at McLaren if either Norris or Piastri had to be replaced at some point? Your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world.